Congressman Bobby Rush of the First District of Illinois. I'm honored to be here with this Till Mobley family, which history will record is one of the leading families that America has produced. This is the first family of the civil rights movement in more ways than one. I'm honored to be here because the presence of the great mother of the civil rights movement, Mamie Till Mobley, stands present, powerful, and profound in our midst. Her warm smile, or words of wisdom, her committed concern, and her courage that she exhibited as only a mother can exhibit at the time of the death of her only son. I stand here because of precious memories. Precious Memories is one of my favorite gospel songs. Precious memories, how they unfold. Sacred scenes do they told. Emmett Till's memory is a current part of my life, a current part of my spirit. Some 60 years ago, as a lad of 8 years old, I remember my mother also telling her 5 sons that the South, in this instance South Georgia, was not a friend of black males. That South Georgia was an enemy of black males, and that she was determined to get her child, her children, her black boys out of Southwest Georgia, Albany, Georgia. And I remember my mother explaining to us the horrors of the Jet magazine photo. Those memories, those explanations, those stories inspire me, mobilize me, energize me even today. We stand here and bear witness to the fact that the truth around Emmett Till's murder are still truths that America refuses to recognize and that America refuses to acknowledge. There is a question around Emmett Till's murder that looms large in our spirit, in our minds, in our every activity, even today. And that question is a question that young African Americans are answering even in this very hour. Black lives matter. Black lives mattered when Emmett was killed. Black Lives Matter when Fred Hampton and Mark Clark were killed. Black Lives Matter even today. Questions that are unanswered stimulate, energize, are the foundation for those of us who continue to fight even now and in the future. The quality of the question is the foundation for the progress of America, particularly the question, does Black Lives Matter here in this nation at this time? So as we gather around this moment, this historical site, as we
Peace. I welcome you with the greetings of peace. I'm Hassan Rashid, and this is your Human Service News and Information. It's always excellent being with you, and it's such a great achievement to come into your lives like we do here at CCTV Daily. So, with that, I'd like to update you on the opening video, but we're going to put it off. We're going to do some things relating to CCTV. We're going to tell you what's going on here at CCTV, but the opening video was a commemoration of the 60th anniversary of the death of Emmett Till, the young Chicagoan who went south 60 years ago and was pulled out of his bed and executed, killed. So we're gonna go into share some more about the death of Emmett Till with you later on. But first, I'd like to remind you that the Backlot Barbecue is coming up here at CCTV on the 17th. I think things get underway about 6 o'clock. So if you're still interested in the Backlot Barbecue, attending the Backlot Barbecue, you can get your tickets right here. I'll show you how to order your, make reservations, get your tickets. Okay, so if you like tickets for Backlot Barbecue, and if you've been attending these events, this event annually, year after year, and you're kind of baffled about the tickets, how to get tickets, well, you can go to the website. That's cctvcambridge.org/BBQ tickets. That's cctvcambridge.org/BBQ tickets. So I understand that that lot barbecue is going to be bigger and greater this year than it was last year. So you still got time to get your tickets. Once again, that's cctvcambridge.org/BBQ tickets. Okay, that's the website. That's the place to go if you're interested in getting tickets for Backlot Barbecue. Okay, there's a work in progress discussion group that's going on. That will be starting Wednesday, September 23rd at 6:30 p.m. So it's a work in progress discussion group, and it's you're invited to come out and share your works with other members. That's at Cambridge Community Television. It's hosting a critique group for members. This is a chance to get feedback on work in progress and see other productions being made at CCTV. If interested in attending or showing work, contact Natalie at 617-401-4006. That's Natalie at 617-401-4006. That's if you're interested in attending or showing your work, okay? So you can reach Natalie at her email, and that's natalie@cccambridge.org. Once again, that's natalie@cccambridge.org to reach Natalie at her email. That is if you're interested in attending or showing your work, and if you have anything else on your mind, so you can contact Natalie. That's once again 617-401-4006 or natalie@cctvcambridge.org. So this session will be held. That's Wednesday, 23rd, 6:30 p.m. Okay, if neighbormedia.org we got Cambridge covered. That's your theme, eh? So, what is Neighbor Media? Neighbor Media is a citizen journalist project of Cambridge Community Television. We train Cambridge residents to become multimedia reporters and support them in their pursuits to inform, educate, and move the people of Cambridge into action on matters important to them. NeighborMedia.org reports Cambridge news and information you won't find elsewhere in the mainstream Boston area media landscape. These are stories about people, places, issues, events of our reporters' very own neighborhood schools, communities, and nonprofits. It's all Cambridge news with a perspective that only a citizen journalist can give. So how can I contribute or be part of the team? If that's what you're thinking, well, to become a guest contributor, perfect for nonprofits, neighborhood associations, individuals who wish to submit occasional articles, columns, or video pieces about a Cambridge related topic. Send an email to Frank at cctvcambridge.org to learn how you can get your story, press release, or video seen on neighbormedia.org. Okay, become an ongoing journalist. Okay, live in Cambridge, become an ongoing neighbor media reporter in exchange for 2 witnesses' stories and 1 video piece per month. You get a free CCTV membership and unlimited free classes at CCTV. Contact Frank at cctvcambridge.org to learn more. So, got a news tip, have a story idea you want to pitch to one of our volunteer journalists? Send the info to newstips at cctvcambridge.org. If a reporter is interested, he or she will follow up for details. So that's neighbormedia.org. Check that out for more additional information on how you can become a citizen journalist. Okay. With that, I'd like to there's one more thing that I'd like to share with you about CCTV. Now, their new newsletter, Open Studio, is available to the public. You'll walk right in, 438 Massachusetts, and pick your copy up. And this will, you'll be able to digest information on the courses that they're offering here at the CCTV and media, et cetera, and you'll also be able to benefit from other bits of information in this newsletter. That's CCTV's own newsletter. That's Open Studio is the name of it. So you come on in and get your copy. That's 438 Massachusetts Avenue. Okay. Join the conversation about homelessness in Cambridge this September. So that's just a short ways off. That's Charrettes on homelessness. Okay, so Cambridge Department of Human Service Programs, in consultation with the Cambridge Homeless Continuum of Care, COC, and other city departments have partnered with the Corporation for Supportive Housing, that's CSH, to facilitate a community planning progress on homelessness. Please join us September 15th through the 18th for a unique community planning experience. CSH has developed a charrette model that will enable our community to engage in focused, time-limited process that will result in a strategic action plan to address homelessness in Cambridge. In January 2015, the City Council Human Service and Veterans Committee held a hearing to discuss the city's efforts in planning around homelessness. This need for an updated planning process was described at that time. This planning effort around homelessness will inform the city's planning process. Okay, so the dates of these charrettes, there's 3. The first charrette is on Tuesday, September 15th, at Sheridan Commander Hotel. That's at Harvard Square. It starts at 9 a.m. and it ends around 5 p.m. that Tuesday. So the second charrette is at the same location, the Sheridan Commander Hotel at Harvard Square, and they get underway on the 16th of September at 9 a.m. and they'll end about 5 p.m. And the third charrette, it is at a different location, the Cambridge YWCA at 7 Temple Street in Cambridge, Hannon Hall, Central Square, 7 Temple Street, and they'll get underway about 10 a.m. to 12 noon. So after the 2 events have evolved, And the third charrette is the one that will come up with the community recommendations on what is to be done or forecast to be done about homelessness here in Cambridge. So you don't want to miss that. That's September 15th, Sheridan Commander Hotel, Harvard Square. September 16th, back at the same place, Sheridan Commander Hotel, Harvard Square. And the 17th will be at the Cambridge YWCA 7 Temple Street, Hannon Hall, Central Square. Okay, I'm Hassan Rashid, and this is your Human Service News and Information. And we'll be here with you for about approximately, I'd say, about approximately 15 more minutes, okay? So Congress back from recess to deal with fiscal year 16 appropriations. When Congress returned from recess on September 8th, there will be just 10 legislative days. Well, that's 18th, today is the 10th, so, I mean, today is the 9th, so that was yesterday. They went back to work yesterday. And there will be just 10 legislative days before the start of the 2016 fiscal year on October 1st. The Transportation, Housing, Urban Development, and related agencies subcommittees fiscal year 16 bills passed by the full House and the Senate Committee on Appropriations are expected to remain stalled until either the sequester spending caps are lifted or one or more continuing resolutions CR take their place. The White House has made clear that the President Barack Obama will not sign the official 16 spending bill that do not lift sequester spending caps. So we want those caps lifted. We don't want to go into another phase of sequestration. Okay, you can write your elected officials about that too, about having those spending caps lifted. Okay, all right. Okay, House passes bill to aid opioid fight. Two bills sponsored by Bay State lawmakers to give state officials and medical practitioners in Massachusetts and across the country more tools to battle the growing opioid abuse epidemic, passed by the U.S. House unanimously last night. Okay, the House passed the ununanimous voice vote legislation to co-sponsor by U.S. Representative Joseph P. Kennedy III that would reinstate federal funding to states, establish implementation and improve prescription drug monitoring programs to help screen and treat those addicted or at risk of becoming addicted. The House also unanimously passed by U.S. Representative Catherine Clark bill to create uniform standards for diagnosing and treating newborn sufferings from opioid exposure. If passed by the Senate, it would become the first law to address newborns exposed to opioid use, also known as neonatal abstinence syndrome. Okay, right now there is no standard for treatment with NAS, Clark told the Herald. The problem leads to long stays in the NICU and hundreds of millions in Medicaid dollars. Kennedy said the unanimous support for funding of National Scheduled Prescription Electronic Reporting Reauthorization Act for the first time in 5 years speaks to the breadth and depth of the opiate abuse epidemic. There are few people in the country who have been spared the heartbreak of watching a loved one, neighbor, or friend fall victim to opioid addiction. Kennedy said it is an epidemic striking red states and blue states, small towns and big cities, neighborhoods rich and poor. Governor Charlie Baker and other state officials have focused on efforts to combat the opioid addiction epidemic. The summer, Baker asked state lawmakers for nearly $30 million for new prevention and recovery programs. Okay, Justice Start receives a $200,000 donation from J.P. Morgan. That's Cambridge's Justice Start receives a $200,000 donation from J.P. Morgan Chase. Okay, Cambridge-based Justice Start Corporation just announced having received a $200,000 grant from J.P. Morgan Chase Foundation for their 23-year-old biomedical career program. This 9-month tuition-free program prepares Cambridge area adults with low incomes for biomedical careers. Okay. USDA urged to stop advising USDA urged to stop advising property owners that they can increase rent. The National Housing Law Project sent letters on August 19th, September 3rd to USDA Rural Housing Service Administration Tony Hernandez, urging the Rural Development Office to immediately cease to advise owners who have exhausted their rental assistance contract funding that they can raise their rents to offset the loss of rental assistance, and 2, publish an unnumbered letter to state RD, that states rural development offices and owners, advising them that rents cannot be raised to offset loss of rental assistance. According to the NHLP, about 50 Section 515 rental and Section 514, 516 farm labor housing developments will exhaust their rental assistance funding prior to October 1st, and another 780 such developments will exhaust their rental assistance funding in the first quarter, fiscal year 16, impacting at least 20,000 residents. The RD has advised owners who exhaust their RE funding prior to the end of their 12-month funding contracts that they can raise their rents on residents to make up for the shortfall. On August 19th, the NHLP city statute, which text expressly prohibits increased rental assistance rents by more than 10% in any 12-month period. Moreover, the letter states no rent increases are authorized under RD regulation to residents assisted by the rental assistance program during the term of any lease unless the resident's lease explicitly authorizes such a rent increase when the funding of a rental assistance contract is exhausted. In the September 3rd follow-up letter, NHLP describes cases in Tennessee, Iowa, Texas, in which owners have increased rents for residents upon exhaustion of rental assistance funds. Their actions, which are in clear violations of the law, are causing residents displacements. Gideon Anders, senior attorney for NHLP, said in a September letter. Okay, I promise you that we'd get back and share some details about the killing of Emmett Till. Emmett Till, who was a young Chicago, one about 14, who went down to visit relatives down in Mississippi 60 years ago. And he was dragged out of his bed and they took him somewhere and executed him. They did this because he whistled at a white woman. And he was punished for that. And the perpetrators were set free by the courts. Okay, Emmett Till casket goes to Smithsonian. So Simon Wright recalls the events surrounding his cousin's murder and the importance of having the casket on public display. Okay, Simon Wright, 67, is Emmett Till's cousin and was with him the night Till was kidnapped and murdered. In 1955, Emmett Till, a 14-year-old African-American visiting Mississippi from Chicago, was murdered after whistling at a white woman. His mother insisted that her son be displayed in a glass-top casket so that the world could see his beaten body. Till's murder became a rallying point for the civil rights movement, and his family recently donated a casket in which he was buried to the Smithsonian National Museum of African American History and Culture. Till's cousin, Simon Wright, 67, who was with him the night he was kidnapped and murdered, spoke with the magazine Abbey Color. We have that interview, but time is running out, so we're running low for time, so we won't get into that interview on this occasion. Maybe some other occasion in the future, we will share that interview with you about with the Simon Wright, Emmett Till's cousin, who was with him. He was, as a matter of fact, they both were sleeping in the same bed, and the perpetrators dragged Till out of the bed and took him somewhere and murdered him. So today marks this week marks the 60th anniversary of the slaying of Emmett Till. So I wanted to share that with you and get you aware of that. But before we go, we got just a few more minutes left, but I'd like to advise you that if you see spare change vendors out on the street, I advise you to purchase a newspaper from them, because it's part of their livelihood. What they're doing out there is selling. This is the latest edition of Spare Change. I want you to see the cover, but entitled Fall Arts. So it's very interesting information in this latest edition for all you folks out there who are lovers of art. Okay, so Once again, I advise you to purchase your spare change with the spare change vendors that you see with the badge on. Those are the authorized spare changers. They say there's a lot of phonies out there, imitators, and just trying to earn a dollar. So I advise you to share a dollar with the spare change vendors out there. I'm Hassan Rashid, and you know, I always leave you with the fact that superior wisdom can never be subjected by inferior wisdom. So until next time, I leave you with the ancient greeting, peace, goodwill, and justice. Okay, and until next time, peace.
In terms of the prosecution.
Erica, do you want to talk about that?
Well, in 1955, when Emmett was murdered, it was an all-white, all-male jury. They deliberated for about 60 minutes, about an hour, and that was basically so they could have a drink, have a beverage, and they came back with a not guilty verdict. And then when they had the exhumation, Carolyn Bryant, the woman whom Emmett whistled at, they were trying to come up with more evidence against her because she was in the truck the evening that they did go and abduct Emmett from the home. And unfortunately, they could not come up with enough evidence to convict her. So there was nothing that could be done. So they couldn't do anything else. So again, not guilty, basically, a not guilty.